Ah, that's hot.
You know, and they absolutely and all of what they
have been aware of when you were in Hollywood, because you had a lot of power. You had a lot of power.
I agree with you, Candace. You know, looking back on it, you know, there because you're cracking that system, and Clark Patterson is out there cracking that system too. You know, it won't permeate for, you know, and they absolutely and all of what they said was bullshit there because you're cracking that system, and Clark Patterson is out there cracking that system too. You know, it won't permeate for.
Well, ever hear of a John Deere JS46? This was a classic lawnmower from back in the day. 8.75 professional Briggs & Stratton with electric start. Of course, it's power drive, belt driven. It's got more controls on it than a Cadillac. This thing's seen better days, but the owner knows that rebuilding a good lawnmower or a badass lawnmower is a lot better than buying a piece of junk. And hopefully at the end of the day, it's going to be a mean, lean, fighting green machine again. And I'm a big fan of John Deere, always have been, always will be, unless they do me wrong. But so far they hadn't. So let's see how this little project, how it turns out. Well, good news for my customer. Look at that, blown head gasket. I knew that if we were going to save this motor, that I wanted to clean it up. I needed to take it off the machine anyway. Thank gosh I was able to get that blade mount off with the air hammer. As long as our head gasket is, or our head's not warped. Anyway, so we're going to throw a head gasket at it, make sure that the valves aren't leaking. If they are, I might try to grind them down where they sit with a drill and some graphite. If I got a little leak, so I might be able to, you know, reseat them like that, which is an old-timer's trick. But it actually looks pretty clean inside. You know, it looked like it was running rich there. You know, a lot of carbon buildup over the years, but you know, we'll just take a good look at it. Like I said, I found 2 bolts. You know, when I took them off, I didn't take them off with my torque wrench, which probably would have helped, but I think this whole thing will clean up, and we're probably going to save our customer a few $100s at the same time, which is always good. People like it when you save them money. So y'all stick around for the update. Piece of granite will work too, but I don't have one. You just kind of work on it real slow. Make sure you're not putting any pressure on one side more than the other. I think this is 320. And we're just trying to get all of that discoloration there off of the head. You can do it in circles like this, it's best. Make sure that you're not picking up any of the edges. You want it to be completely flat on the glass the whole time. Let's see here. Let's see, that's just about got it there. Quick wipe down, maybe a couple more quick circles. We are dealing with a lawnmower, not a top fuel dragster. So this gasket will more than enough make up for any small impurities, but this will save you a trip to the machine shop. I was looking for some graphite. I'll put graphite on granite or glass and use that, and you can actually see what's going on from the back side. Now my other concern is right here. I want to make sure that this here is all good, level and flat, and I can do that with a straight edge. We're going to remove that flywheel brake. And we're going to try to get all this greasy stuff off of here, which mostly what you're seeing now is just paint. I'm not going to sandblast it. I might wire brush a little bit just to get it down, and then we're going to put a high temp engine paint on it. Okay, so I pulled that piston all the way up. The first thing I did was I cleaned the piston off just to knock any carbon or anything off of there. Then leaving it level, I sanded all this down here. It's all good. If you've got a problem, you'll more than likely see signs of a big struggle. You can see where it was blowing out right here. It doesn't feel like it's got a dip in it. It feels all nice and smooth. I can still see some of the original machine work. Now I pushed the piston down in here, and what I'm looking for here is ridges or scratches, and I go all the way around the cylinder, and it's just smooth as a baby's bottom. I'm missing got paint failure, more paint failure than what I originally thought. When I pressure washed it, I tried to get up underneath the paint the best I could to roll back anything that was bad. Underneath, we ran a red tip at 2900 or 3000 psi for probably a half hour, and there was so much grass caked in there, it just would not come out. The stuff was just like proper cement. Here, okay. All I gotta do is point and shoot, dude. I gotta put the lid on this. Oh.
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
I tell you to be sure and get my good side, but I don't think you can walk around that far. Okay, so I put the head. Remember you were asking me what a head was. You should know what a head is by now in life. But this part here is the head between my two fingers. Okay. Okay, and that's the cylinder. That's the valve cover, because this is overhead cam. And then this is gas, and this is a gas tank. And all of this, when I get done, is going to pour on the floor because I have nowhere to put it. That is a gas can lid, and this is a plug for a gas can. Don't have one more. Now we've got spark. Let's just see what happens. It's supposed to be a self-choking thing. I don't have a lawnmower blade on here, so it's not gonna.
Do we have electric?
Say again.
Do we have electricity? You said we have spark. Do we have electricity?
Spark. You get spark when this turns over from the magneto. Hey, hey! Look at that. Without the blade, this is going to be tough. So let me do this. I've got the wiring harness here. Why is that not going in the hole? That goes in that hole. That goes in that hole. That being said, all of this should go in the hole together.
It's probably plugged.
No, there we go. Okay. So, when this thing here is pulled back, it pulls this apart and takes pressure off this switch. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put that over there to open that switch. Now that switch is open, there is no ground. Right? Right. We got to find out what this plugs into because I can't remember. It plugs into something.
Well, no, duh.
Well, and it's got a plug that looks like this. So find it. Thank you. Wire's coming from up top, I bet. Look at here.
Yep,
So,
right there.
yeah, so you got one that goes right here, right?
Yeah.
And then this one here goes into the anti-safety device that we don't need, that is disconnected. Now, I can pull this up. Okay. And the motorcycle.
Safety first, kids.
Okay, now this goes. Okay, now I want to show you something. See how the cable goes in here?
Yeah.
When you're connecting this thing to a battery, okay? Let's say sometimes like it's hard to grab, so you want to grab plastic and metal like this here, okay? But when you do that, you want to make sure that the one that's touching the metal is the one that's got the wire going into it. If not, if you got it like this, okay, then the power's got to go through here and it's got to go through this hinge to get over here to touch the metal. So you always want to make sure that if you're using plastic to get your clamp or whatever, and you're only going to have the metal touching on one side, you want to make sure it's the side with the wire. Okay? And whenever you're jumping something off, you get the hell away. Now this one here I'm not so much worried about, but a car battery, I've had them blow up right in my face.
Yours at home, that just means make sure the metal is touching the metal directly.
Yeah. And not going through the hinge. You know, if it's only touching on one side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially when you're jumping. If you're trickle charging, it's not that big of a deal, but if you're jumping it off, big deal. Okay. When I tell you to, do something with that key, turn it for me.
Right now?
Yeah, go ahead, start it. Okay, let's see here. Do me a favor. Over there. Ah, that's hot. Okay, look, hold that right there.
Is that hot?
Hold that. No, that's not. No,
Okay.
the muffler earlier was. Just hold it like that. Huh. That's weird. Hold on a sec. I know what the problem is now. I forgot one very important spring that goes right here. If I can get it through that hole. Now we are cooking with burn oil.
Alright.
No, you can leave it now.
Go.
I forgot one little spring caused all that problem. Alright, let me get my cutter. I've been taking grass out of this lawnmower for a week, man. Here, go dump this off, brother.